It's a hot morning this morning. We're up early and we're going to go on our 4th road trip in 2 months. We're going to go back to Alex's arcade archive down in Stroud, because today he's going to have a talk from world record missile command holder Tony Temple. So we want to hear what Tony's got to say. I think he's doing a talk on how he the background of the game and how he got the record, and tips and hints he can give on getting high scores in missile command. So we're hoping to meet quite a few people there this time as well. There should be a big crowd, and it's another 2.5 hour road trip to get down there. So we're going to get our skates on, let's get going guys, and let's have a great day now.
Thanks for coming today. We've got Tony doing his talk at, where is it? It's at 2 o'clock. Before then, we're going to go down to the arcade at 11 o'clock. Play some games. 12. Sorry, my time's wrong. 12 o'clock, play some games. Then we're going to come up here at 1 o'clock and have some lunch, and then straight after Tony's going to do his talk. Alright?
There will be a high score. Sorry,
oh, there is a high score.
There is a high score challenge, and there are 2 prizes to be won. Surprise prizes.
Are you going to reveal those prizes?
No.
No? So there's prizes to be won on the high score challenge today, which is down in the arcade. Have some fun, guys. Alright, enjoy yourselves. Alright?
Cheers.
No worries.
Look at these guys, these are immortal joysticks. These look really good. Is it this one out? It must be this one out. These feel really good. Oh, nice joystick.
One time it's not easy, but yeah, playing it like this is awkward. I want to see Tony's tips later on and see if I can actually apply them.
Yeah.
What on earth did I do that?
That's amazing. Yeah. 5 minutes, guys, and we're going to have some lunch.
Horribly wrong now.
You said you couldn't play it?
No, this first few screens are fine. Now it gets deceiving. Now look how fast it goes.
Yeah, but nobody can play it from this point.
Well, Tony can. Here we go, force one. You're on. How I'll survive that one, I don't know. Right. And that
Oh, this is where it gets nasty, isn't it?
one life left.
It was called Rita's. And obviously I had recollections of that place. The owner, Pete, had arcade machines, and I went in there, discovered arcade machines. One of those machines happened to be Missile Command, and obviously the rest is history. And when I was writing my book, Rita's is long gone, it's now a Barber's or something, and I was just thinking, oh, it'd be great if I had a picture of that place, if only I'd taken a picture. And I went on Flickr, which is a website that hosts images, and punched in Rita's Cafe and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled, and came across this image. And it's kind of, you have to indulge me for a bit. It's amazing for a couple of reasons. One, someone took a picture of this grotty cafe in Fishponds in Bristol. Like, what the hell? Number one. But number two, you make out a guy peering out the door. That's Peter, who was the Greek owner. Big Greek guy, always walked around with 10p's in his pocket and would kind of give us change if we get him a pound note, give us 10p's, because those were the things that made him the money, like cups of tea and chips and bacon sandwiches was bits on the side. The thing that made him his money were his arcade machines and his fruit machines. So someone's taken a picture of this cafe back in the 80s, and Peter's even got a picture of Peter looking out going, "What's that taking a picture of my thing? What's this guy with the camera taking a picture of me and my cafe?" And you can see the part of the signs missing at the top and net curtains, so no one could kind of peer in. But I looked closer, and what's even more remarkable is if you look at the window to the left of the door. That's the Missile Command that I started playing on. And what's the chances, right? There's like an idiot here that's just looking on the internet. I wonder if there's find a picture of this cafe that I went to in this particular location in the UK. And not only did I find a picture of the cafe, but it's not only got the owner, the guy I knew, Pete, but the machine I used to play on in the window. And really, this was the image when I found it. It was like, I need to write this book. It was just something, this image just kind of came to me, and I was like, I have to. That's it. I've just got to write this book. There's such a thing. Does anybody people came across World Today and Twin Galaxies? It's probably at this point we should probably mention there's more than one world record on Missile Command. Missile Command typically gives you a bonus city every 10,000 points. If you get to a certain standard of play on Missile Command, in theory you can play the game forever. If you're good enough to get 10,000 points on a screen, you're guaranteed the game's going to continue because you get an extra life. And so there are players who can play, in theory, Missile Command forever until they either fall asleep or the game breaks down, or World War III occurs, or whatever. The world record on that setting is well over 100 million points. Victor Sandberg from Sweden played the game for 56 hours. So I'm thinking, I probably still could have a crack at that, but I'm not sure at my age and my prostate being what it is. I'm not sure I could play a game for 56 hours. You can take breaks, so you can build up bonus cities to the extent that you can walk away from the game for 15 minutes, have a kick, and come back, and it's still playing into those cities. There are a number of bugs in the game that if two happen at the same time, the game crashes, and that's the end of the game. Victor designed something that he could keep track of where his bonus city count was. I won't go into it, it'll kill you, and it'll be an hour of your life you won't get back. But you have to, it's not just a case of sitting and playing 56 hours. You've got to keep an eye on, you have to let cities go. You've got to sit and let the game just play itself out for 10 minutes and then get back on it, because otherwise the game's going to crash. So when you're collecting bonus cities, there's a 256 count limit, at which point it'll go back to 0. If you've got 256 bonus cities in reserve and you get another one, the count goes back to 0. And if that count lands in a certain area, the game crashes out. I told you I wouldn't get into it in around. So I thought, well, that's not for me at this point in time. And I discovered another setting, which is called tournament settings. Tournament settings allows you to start with 6 cities, but does not give you any bonus cities at all. There are no extra lives. So once your cities are gone, it's gone. And it's hardcore. You're on a knife edge. You're down to your last city, you're protecting one city, and if it goes, your game's finished. The world record on that game was 1.69 million points. And I thought, well, that's interesting, I'm going to give that a go. And so I started playing. And I was awful, and I couldn't figure out why I was awful. And I played and played and played and played, and I couldn't get anywhere near this score. And it was really bugging me, because I was thinking, well, I know I'm a good Missile Command player, because I was back then, and I still think I am now. And I couldn't figure it out. And what I realised was, there was something psychological about these bonus cities. And I figured, well, whether I was conscious of it or not, you've always got in the back of your mind, however I do, the game's going to continue, because I'm getting a bonus city, so it doesn't matter. And so therefore, you're slightly sloppy. Right, I'll have a go at that and see if I hit that, and you don't. And like, it doesn't matter because my bonus city's coming, or I've got 20 in reserve. But psychologically, that's how you play. And I realised that, and that's why I was losing out, because I was going for tricky things and losing my last city, and it was the end of the game because there's no bonus city. So I had to deconstruct my game. It was a really difficult thing to do. It's like relearning to walk, I suppose. I had to completely start from scratch and reconstruct the way I played Missile Command. So some of you who play the game, you might do a spread of missiles across the middle of the screen. It's a perfectly valid tactic, and that works, and that's great. If you do that on tournament settings, you're not going to get, you'll get a certain way, but you're not going to get anywhere near a world record. So I just completely removed that from my game. No more spreads. I'm picking off individual shots. Convergences, so when missiles are coming like that, well, instead of boom, boom, I've shot 2 of my precious missiles away. I wait for them to meet and I shoot it in the middle. So I'm taking individual pop shots at things instead of kind of doing clouds of missiles all over the place. And that's all about preserving your missiles. And more importantly, building your accuracy. So doing a blanket of missiles is a kind of a vague thing to do, and it just takes everything out, and that's great. But if you can pop those 6 missiles off one by one, you're going to develop your game. You get more familiar with the trackball, and subconsciously you go to autopilot. You don't have to look anymore. I know there's a missile over there, but I'm looking right at the centre of the screen. I just do that and press the button, and I know it's done. And then I go back over. So you've got this sort of holistic view of the screen instead of, oh no, I'm over here. It isn't going to work on some of the later screens. And so, as you can see on the, so Walter said to me, I got in touch with Walter and said, I'm a good Missile Command player. For reasons I won't go into, he was particularly interested in this and suggested to me that if I beat the score by the 15th of March, he thought it would be significant enough to put in the Guinness Book of Records. So that was kind of like a bit of an incentive for me to, that'd be cool, get in the Guinness Book of Records. And so, on the 9th of March 2006, I achieved the world record on tournament settings on Missile Command of just over 1.9 million. We'll see what happens. So here I'm at just over 200,000 points. I've got 3 cities left. As you can see, so we're at 6 times points, so everything is worth 6 times what it usually is. Again, you can see I'm trying not to spread, I'm just trying to take things out individually. Again, looking for convergences, where can I save my missile there? And those are smart bombs. Tricky little buggers. They've got like a rudimentary AI, and they're scanning below where they are. If they see an explosion, they'll try and avoid it, and they'll bug around it. So this is where the game nearly ends at 200,000. There's one city gone. So I'm in trouble. I've lost my side missiles. I've only got my middle missiles. Here, I've got two left. You saw what I had to do there. So I had 2 missiles left. And then 1 missile left. One's coming for the base, but another one was coming out over my city, and I had to take it out. So I had to not take the one below, I had to take the one above. This is the long shot coming up. Here. So, and then I tried to do it again and screwed that up. So, but that I get bored quite easily. I find it hard to fight. So I don't know, Pac-Man. How John Stubley does that. Or is it 200 odd screens of the same thing over and over again, the same pattern over and over? Yeah, I mean, it would just kill me. So just little things like an opportunity to take out a long shot, it just kind of keeps myself amused and just keeps more interest going in the game.
How long did 4 million take you to do?
3 hours 45 minutes. Another tip for you, using side bases. So typically, what some people don't know is when you shoot missiles from the middle base, it's about 20% quicker than the side bases. The side bases, the missiles go slower. In the middle base, they go a little bit quicker. What that means is when it comes to taking out smart bombs, you're better off trying to take them out with your middle base. It just makes it easier because those missiles move a little bit quicker. And so when you're on some of the later screens, try and use your side bases more than your middle base, and try and keep your middle bases for when the smart bombs comes, which is typically at the end of each wave. Just try and give you an example of that here. So you should see I'm just trying to use my side bases. So I've not used a middle, use one then. Side base, side base, side base. Now I've lost my middle base, which is not good. So that was probably the luckiest bit in the game, because one of those smart missiles by rights probably should have taken out my city, but for some reason the algorithm saved me. So try and use your side bases before you use your middle base. It just makes sense to do it that way. That's what I'm trying to do there.
Are you consciously not hitting missiles that aren't heading for anything as well?
Yeah. Yeah. So as long as I've got enough missiles to do it, I'll try and take everything out as I possibly can, because I'm just trying to rack up as high scores as I can. So I just said, try and save your middle bases to the end of each wave, because that's when the smart bombs come. There are occasions where that doesn't happen, and the smart bombs just keep coming right from the start. So you're trying to take out missiles, but mixed into that are a load of smart bombs which just start from the beginning of each wave. Probably happens 5% of the time. It's just an example of that here. That's just my bad editing, sorry. Psychologically, you're thinking, geez, I'm trying to, and they just keep coming. Doesn't happen often, but just an interesting quirk of the game. You will sometimes just get bombarded continuously. This is an example of an interesting bug in the game, and no one's figured out why it happens. So this is wave 100, fairly standard stuff for at that level. This is wave 101. I don't know if you know, you probably don't immediately notice, but there's one extra missile at the start. And it does that from wave 101 to wave 175. and we don't really know why, but it's some kind of odd programming quirk that randomly chucks out an additional missile that it wouldn't do typically on those things. So it's just another thing to think about and deal with and prepare for, because it can really throw you. And there's lots of guys who play tournament settings where their game ends at like 103, 104, 105 because they haven't kind of psychologically prepared themselves for the other. Missile Command has a kill screen, much like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. It occurs in an odd place actually. It's normally the number 256. You 8-bit programmers will know all about that. On Pac-Man, screen 256 is when you get that weird Pac-Man pattern thing. On Missile Command, it happens twice. Once at wave 255, and again at 256. This is wave 253. Stuff is happening, it's fairly standard. So I'd like you to keep an eye on the score. This is wave 255 and it says 0 times points. What's the score? So everything is worth 256 times its normal value on wave 255. So it's worth trying to take out as much as you possibly can because it's worth a good slug of points. So if you've noticed, I got 500,000 points there. And that's wave 256. Nothing happens, it just counts everything up and gives you that bonus. And it goes back to wave 1.
The difficulty is now restarted.
And the difficulty restarts. So that was the first time anyone's hit the kill screen on tournament settings and discovered what happens. And that's what happens. So wave 255, shoot everything. Everything's worth 256 times its normal value, worth a huge load of points. Wave 256 is unplayable, and it just gives you all of your missiles as a bonus, and your bonus city as a bonus. Again, worth 256 times its normal value. And the difficulty resets, which is quite nice. It's quite buzzing with adrenaline, and it was quite nice to get that. Quite nice to get that that reset there. Is the machine going to get the? Is it going to get the better of me? And I just didn't know what to do. It was like, so I've got to go to work in the morning. My wife's probably thinking, he's down there again playing these stupid games. And so I was like, I don't know, do I wait for 5 million and then start? Is that a good market to have? And this is what happened. I'm playing, this is the sort of thoughts are going through my mind. I knew I'd set a new world record. I knew it was quite significant, but I didn't know how it was going to end. And what happened in the end was I pressed the middle button to shoot a missile in the middle of the screen, and nothing happened. So I'll try and point out to you here. You see that?
Button is slide there. Fix it.
I hung on for as long as I could.
Yeah. Just goes over.
That was it. Amazing. So I think in many ways I was kind of pleased. I thought, well, it wasn't my fault. Like it was the hardware, right? And that's the thing to remember. You're setting a world record on a 40-year-old machine. You've got to take consideration of.
Was that the first time it happened? Was that game?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I mean it's happened before, but not at such a crucial point that I could have kept going. And that fundamentally is the end of my talk. I don't know if anybody's got any.
Have you had any other competitors knocking
On a stupid level, in these early levels, do you find it mildly therapeutic?
Not really.
No.
No.
You're still thinking hard in it, yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you play this on a normal day?
I was saying to someone earlier, the last serious game I played was that World Record in 2010. I just don't. I mean, I've switched it on to make sure it works and had a quick sort of tinker around, but I've not sort of played in earnest for ages.
And no desire to want to try and make that even higher?
Not really. No.
If someone beat it?
Yeah. It just needs someone to kind of come along. But it's quite a way ahead of where anyone else is.
Yeah.
So.
I think Mr. Awesome is trying every day to make it.
No, I think he's.
Well, if he wasn't ill, but.
Yeah, I think he's given up now. So the usual thing to do around about here would be so that's what most people do. But you look at how many missiles I shot off there. I'm almost out.
Yeah.
That's taken 9 missiles to just do that. You know, whereas if you shoot them off individually.
I think the thing is, I always try and get them as high as possible.
Waiting for those convergences.
And are the explosions, this might sound a daft question, but those explosions, they appear to be somewhat random in shape. Does that make any difference as well?
I don't think so.
No, but they chain reactions though, that's why they look random.
Yeah, I suppose it depends what hits them, right?
Yeah,
And from what angle.
yeah.
Well, I just think it's just a much more interesting way to play the games, right? Instead of doing the same thing over and over.
That left-handed thing is definitely a thing.
Left-handed person, you can start off as games and then you rotate it, you got degrees.
Yeah, that
And then it will adjust
you get on. Because a left-handed player trying to reach over here to bring it on.
I want myself a good game, joystick. But I think made arcade joysticks, quite early on. Still going strong. 4 or 5 years later.
That was horrible. This trackball's jumping a bit.
Masterful. I didn't realise that they've bonus cities. When it says bonus city award, even though you've already got 6, it's still ranking them up in the background.
Yes.
I do always, because you can't see anything, there's no counter, I always assume nothing.
It tells you you've got one when you need one.
Does it really?
So, if you still have 6, it doesn't tell you anything, but it remembers that you've got one.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
When you go down to 5, it says you've got one.
It's important to have like sort of peripheral vision. So I'm usually just looking here, like, and if I see something coming there, I just know what to do rather than.
There's like a timing thing. You know how fast it's moving. You're anticipating where that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that long shot we did in the clip.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I'm always working. I've got the cursor way further up the top of the screen, and and then I'm missing everything.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Spoken to the guy that wrote it, did he give any indication about surprised at how the sort of scores that people were getting out of it?
Yeah, he was. Him and Dave Sherman, I think, got like 600,000, which is why they never discovered the infamous bonus city bug where you get 100 and something bonus cities at 800,000 points. So yeah, I think go into it in the book again. They were always amazed at how players managed to, bust out the game, and really get super high scores. So.
None of the bugs in this make it unplayable, do they? Like Batman or Donkey Kong. You get through them.
Yeah, you can get through them. Although there's one which happens, if it happens in a certain way, it will reset the machine.
Nice hold today, Jim.
This isn't set on tournament though, is it?
Yeah, so that's why I couldn't. It's kind of sloppy. I know it's going to carry on. So, whereas tournament, I'd have been, kind of game over by now.
So when you were going through the record, presumably something would, like if you've lost a city before X number, you're going to just restart it. Is that what you're carrying on?
Yeah. Yeah. I have never really had a sort of hard rule set on that. Yeah, there were times where we like restart again. If I can name one way most of my games end, it's that, because there's a satellite really low. You shoot it, and that's that sorted, and just before it gets shot down, it takes out you.
Alright.
Yeah, that's a constant. I have to sacrifice one now.
I was listening to the podcast on the way up, it just happened to be queued up on there. And the guy was saying something about the colours as well. There's only 3 colours displayed on the screen.
Yeah.
Is that something you noticed before he said?
It isn't. No. It's and I think I looked it up and he's still blaming me. Yeah, he's right. And I think it's just a lack of memory.
Yeah. So how many bits you've got to work with?
Yeah. I should have left that last one.
Like I was saying.
Yes. So there, one missile left. Had to make a choice because they was sort of pick the right one.
And then the plane trips.
But then you lost the city and you wouldn't have gone
So there, I kind of knew that missile was going to split, so I fired off 2 to take care of it.
When those lines come down, they're always pointing at either a city with other bases.
No, some of them do go to empty spaces.
Okay. But by empty space you mean where a city used to be?
Yes.
So assuming all were there, they'd be heading towards. So do you recognise in angles literally from where they were at the start?
Trying to, yeah. But like the more obtuse the angle, the more difficult it is to work out. Yeah.
Whereabouts do you keep your cabinet? Is that sort of front room or in the gallery?
It's like a spare room.
Any other machines or is that just the one?
Yeah, I've got a few. I've got a Tempest Cabaret. Oh, Jesus Christ. I've got a Asteroids Cabaret, Robotron Cabaret.
Fair number.
Yeah, a fair few. Like, probably a dozen or so altogether. I'm trying to thin it out now. Just I've got a sort of old age moment of thinking, I don't need to own all these things. Yeah.
Still, there's 75,000 made of this, and it's not just
14.
14,000. Yeah, sorry, I thought it was.
It was asteroid.
That was Asteroids.
What's that?
Asteroids.
Oh, okay. it still doesn't sound like. I know it's a lot of big number when you manufacture it, but it still doesn't sound like a lot of numbers. Like when you think about how many cities there are.
Yeah, I guess. But I think
pretty much most people have played it. You know, it just.
I think anything above 10,000 is considered like that's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah. I'm not. It is obviously sold very, very well, but it just even 75,000 doesn't sound like enough. You know.
Yeah, I agree. But when sort of 84, 85, 86 came around, if Atari sold like 5,000 cabinets, they were delighted.
Yeah.
Because the market had just totally gone.
I just kind of think, like, in Margate's got 20 arcades in it, there's 20 machines, and it just the numbers to me just don't kind of add up. I say Margate has 20,
It's also expensive though.
I don't know how many it's got now. Right?
It's also expensive.
Yeah.
Don't put any old crap in Margate arcade, just to make money.
Is a trackball the same size in the cabaret cabinet, Tony?
No, it's smaller.
It's smaller.
2.5 inches. That's 4.
Yeah.
When do you guys want to take over?
Oh,
come on!
And then just watch it disappear. Like.
It's an experience.
Would you get to be your name?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Your secret would be safe with me, right?
Yeah. No, I don't. I think it would be so straight. Do that again. Yeah.
Thanks.
No, go on. I'm going to do it. Come on.
Just don't panic.
I will just panic now.
There you go, guys. It was a great day. It was fantastic to hear Tony telling us all about the background to the game Missile Command, how we met Dave Toyer, the guy who wrote Missile Command, how he made it, and how even Tony flew out there and met him, and the other guy who built it with him, I can't remember his name now, but that's amazing to go out there and meet the actual people who made the game 44 years ago. That's incredible. So it was great to hear that Tony's story on how he achieved the record, and the game mechanics itself, to give you ideas of how to increase your chances of defending the bases, little tips and tricks which come in handy. His number one tip, ironically, was don't panic, which is easier said than done when it's raining missiles down on you and it seems like you can't move fast enough. But it was great to hear him talk, and I really enjoyed it. Met lots of good people again, lots of new people. Met Tony Riccardi and was chatting to him about Ghosts and Goblins, because I think he's got the unofficial world record on that. He certainly got the highest score, but not through an arcade cabinet, I think. So check out Tony Riccardi's YouTube channel. That's great. He's got lots of great videos on that. And thanks again, Alex, for putting on a fantastic day. I really enjoy these days. I really enjoy making the trip down there and having what seems like a full day of not only a guest speaker who's just a talk on something very interesting, but it's great to be able to meet and chat to guys. I know that we have high score competitions when we're there, but I notice you never really get time to play because you're more interested in talking to everybody, ironically. And a lot of the time it's about meeting people. That's the whole point of going to a meeting. We want to meet people. Playing the games is secondary, and a lot of times you can chat to people while you're playing them, but a lot of time it's meeting old friends again and catching up and seeing how they are. So fantastic, loved the day, and I haven't got any more road trips planned at the minute, unless someone starts making me later in the year. That's it so far this year, but could do with the rest anyway after all that driving around the country. So stay tuned, guys, and we'll see when we have the next one. Cheers.